upon a time, Udena and his wife longed for a child. After years of waiting, their prayers were answered with the birth of a beautiful daughter named Uloma. From birth, Uloma's striking beauty and unusually long, silky hair captured the attention of everyone around. People admired her and were always eager to touch her hair, marveling at how special she was. But with admiration came pride. Even as a young girl, Uloma began to show signs of arrogance. As she grew older, her pride increased. She would walk through the village flaunting her long hair, turning heads, and soaking in the admiration she got. When people tried to greet or talk to her, she would either ignore them or respond with a hiss of irritation. Every morning she would look into the mirror, admiring herself and feeling proud of her beauty. Uloma chose her friends carefully, not for their character, but for their beauty and pride. She had 4 close companions who, like her, were beautiful but ill-mannered. They kept to themselves, never mingling with other maidens in the village. Uloma was their leader, and whatever she said, the others obeyed without questions. They treated her like a queen, not because of kindness or wisdom, but because of the power she held through fame and beauty. Every morning, young men lined up outside her home, hoping to win her heart. But Uloma turned them all away, claiming none were worthy of her beauty. Her parents pleaded with her to consider one of the many respectful suitors, but her pride held firm. "They don't deserve someone like me," she would say. Her mother, concerned, tried again and again to guide her, to warn her about her behavior and the poor influence of her friends. But Uloma refused to listen. She would often walk away during the conversation, leaving her mother heartbroken. Udena and his wife grew deeply worried. They didn't know what else to do, watching helplessly as the daughter they had prayed so long for drifted farther away into her own prideful world. One quiet morning, Uloma's parents called her in for an important conversation. They had waited for the right time to share something they believed she needed to know. As she sat down, her mother began gently, "Uloma, we waited many years before we could have a child. You were our miracle. Not long after your birth, the whole wise one of our village visited. He told us never to cut your hair. He said the gods had blessed you with this gift, your long, beautiful hair. It is the source of your beauty. If it is cut, you will become ugly and hideous. Your beauty would vanish. You must never cut it." Uloma listened, but remained unconvinced. She thought to herself, that could never happen to me. They warned her to be careful, but Uloma wondered, careful of what? After the talk with her parents, she left, brushing off their concerns. Soon, Uloma decided it was time to settle down. Of all the men in town, she set her eyes on someone she shouldn't have, Uju's boyfriend, and Uju was her best friend. She went to Uju's boyfriend and boldly asked him to leave Uju and be with her. Without hesitation, he agreed because he had always loved Uloma, but settled for Uju because he thought Uloma was beyond his reach. The next day, Uju was heartbroken. Her boyfriend had ended their relationship without explanation. Later that day, her heartbreak turned to devastation when she saw him and Uloma together in the forest, laughing, touching each other like lovers. Betrayed and humiliated, Uju said nothing. Instead, she drew even closer to Uloma, pretending not to know that her boyfriend left her for Uloma. However, she made a promise to herself that she would ruin Uloma by any means necessary. That evening, Uloma and Uju were alone. Everyone else had gone home. Uju persuaded Uloma to try palm wine, telling her it would make her even more beautiful. Uloma trusted a friend and agreed to drink it for the first time, and before you know it, she was drunk, completely unaware of her surroundings. When she was fully intoxicated, Uju led her into the forest. There, in the shadows, she shaved off all of Uloma's hair and left her alone. The next morning, Uloma woke up confused and disoriented. She had no idea how she got to the forest. She assumed she had sleepwalked. She got up to head home. But as she walked through the village, she noticed people staring in, horrified. Some were even laughing at her. She decided to ignore them and flaunt her hair as usual. Then came the shock. She reached for her head and froze. Her hair was gone. She touched her face. She felt pores and swellings. Humiliated, Uloma ran home in tears, went straight to check the mirror, only to be disgusted by how she looked. Her parents were devastated. Her mother burst into tears but held Uloma close, trying to comfort her. They asked what happened. Uloma said she was with Uju that night. Uju was summoned, but she denied everything. Uloma stood in silence, stunned by the betrayal of her best friend. By evening, word had spread. Not one friend came to check on her. Even her new boyfriend abandoned her and returned back to Uju. The same friends who once admired her now mocked her, turning her pain into gossip. Uloma cried for days. She regretted not listening to her parents. She stayed indoors, too ashamed to be seen by anyone, and prayed for her hair to grow back. Months passed, and her hair never returned. She was still bald and hideous. The once beautiful lady with long hair had become the bald, ugly lady. Pride goes before a fall, and we must always be humble. Also, don't take what is not yours. Covetousness can lead to terrible consequences. The end. If you enjoyed this story, kindly subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment.